You did everything right. You copied the toppers book list, their timetable, their test series. You checked all the boxes. But when the mains result came, your score didn't match the effort. Why so? Because UPSC doesn't reward checkboxes. It rewards your thoughts. Today, you will learn why cloning fails and how to build a strategy only and only you can execute. Welcome, aspirants. Let's bust a myth today. The belief that copying a topper's strategy guarantees success in UPSC means. While their journey is inspiring, their strategy is not a one size fits all formula. Their inspiration is good, the imitation not always. The illusion of topper's strategy. You followed the topper's book list. You mimicked their timetable. You enrolled in the same test series as them. But when it came to writing answers in the main examination, the results didn't match the effort. Why? Because strategy alone doesn't make a difference. It's how you think that matters. Suppose an aspirant has replicated AIR1's strategy. An aspirant X, he or she has replicated, has copied, has cloned AIR1's routine and strategy. Waking up at 4 a.m., reading 3 newspapers daily, 8 hours of study daily, but he or she crashes in 2 weeks. Why? Because of the survivorship bias. We only see the 10% who succeeded with such a strategy, not the 90% who has failed. A 2022 study has found that 72% of the candidates who copied toppers' copies in the mains answers lost marks in the critical analysis because UPSC tests your mind, not your mimicry skills. Mains is not a game of copy paste. So, what's the core message? Let's anchor this discussion with one powerful idea. Answer writing is not about copying. It's about connecting your own thoughts to the question. This one insight can wholly transform your mains journey. So, what UPSC really tests in the main examination? UPSC isn't looking for the person or the candidate who remembers the most. It has checked your knowledge or your remembering skills in the prelims examination. It tests who can clearly think, a person who can analyze logically and present insights with a mature outlook. Conceptual clarity, balanced judgment, structure, clarity, findings. These are all your real assets. So, conceptual clarity, analytical ability, balanced judgment, clarity, and relevance. These are the four pillars on which your UPSC mains journey should be dependent. Let's take some examples to drive home our point. Let's take a GS2 question. Discuss the role of civil services in a democracy. So, what a copycat strategy might be, a copycat approach in the mains answer might be that you dump all the Lakshmikant points as you have seen a topper doing so. But is it a great answer? No. It talks about the A great answer talks about real life officers, giving real life examples like Ashok Khemka or E. Sridharan. He touches upon reforms like Mission Karma Yogi and ends with a visionary conclusion. That's the kind of answer that UPSC rewards. So use examples when necessary, challenges, reforms, and a visionary or forward looking conclusion. These are the things that are rewarded by UPSC in the mains answer. Let's take another example from GS4 paper, ethics paper. The question, as a DM, how will you handle an NGO inciting tribals against a particular infrastructure project or any project per se? So a typical template answer that you have copied from a topper, the copy template answer will write verify FCRA, hold meetings, and these sort of points. And when the examiner reads such a approach to the answer, such a ready-made template without any much thinking, they will not give you very good marks. He or she will give you hardly 6 or 7 out of 20 marks in such a scenario. But now, if you think clearly and answer it accordingly, so you map the tribal grievances via ground visits. Write points like invoke PISA Act for Gram Sabha consent, redirect NGOs via CSR partnerships. So examiner, when he or she reads about such diverse points, such deep level of thinking, they will thought that, okay, this candidate is using laws creatively and has a holistic vision. So they will provide you 13 or 14 marks out of possible 20. See the difference over there here. Your answers ink the concepts the topper never taught. Most importantly, you have to connect between different subjects. So since last couple of years, especially in 2023, 30% of question in 2023, 30% of questions forced connections between different subjects and different study areas. So let's break one down. So it says that discuss in ecological impact of sand mining. Now a copied answer, a rote memorized answer will be, it will start with erosion and it will include biodiversity loss and no other analytical thinking or aspect. They will just blab about these points. So it's a very surface level, superficial answer, will hardly fetch you 3 out of 10 marks. Now, if you give a holistic answer, a purely analytical answer by thinking about a couple of minutes, then you can write that hydrological factors such as aquifer depletion leading to droughts. Take example, regional examples like in Bundelkhand, do social economic fisher law, talk about the fishermen, migration, urban slum surge, and governance, take governance dimension. All these dimensions will enrich your answer. So connecting between different subjects. The mains is all about critical thinking, analytical thinking, and connection between different dimensions and different subjects. So such a multi-dimensional answer will easily fetch you around 5.5 to 6 marks out of 10. So we have to just remember that if all the candidates are writing the same rote memorized or toppers copied answers year after year, so if an examiner is checking the 100 copies per day and your copy is answer copy is 101st and you have also written the same template type answers like all the others, so how that examiner will get excited to give you more marks? He or she will not. They are very senior persons. They, by reading your just 2 or 3 lines or by a single glance at your answer, they can figure out the depth of the thinking that you have put into in writing that particular answer. Now, what should you do? What should be your plan? So you should stick to a 3-step blueprint. Stop copying, start building. Here's your 3-step blueprint. Step 1, there should be a ruthless audit of yourself. After every mock, ask to yourself, did I lose marks on content, on structure, or on time? Which exact subtopic made me freeze in the examination? For example, if you scored low in governance diagrams, then do the diagnosis and practice making such diagrams using sketch the different type of policy maps. Step 2, steal principles of toppers, not their entire plans. So suppose a topper said he or she wrote 30 mock tests. So what should be your takeaway from this particular sentence? The targeted practice. Use two different type of mocks. Use two series A and series B. This should be for your feedback and it should be for your weaker areas. The test series A, test series B. Test series A should be focused on the feedbacks and the test series B should be on strengthening the weaker areas. Step 3. Build your systems. Create a sketchbook in the if you have weakness in governance diagram, create a sketchbook with at least 50 must draw diagrams or thought database. This will help you to easily recall the things in the or to enhance your thinking in the main examination. So suppose a topic comes on urban planning. So standard or copied view with most of the Janta will be doing is like they will be talking about smart cities, they will be talking about tech, they will be talking about infrastructure. But if you put a thought on it, so you can connect it to the social dimensions such as unsafe streets leading to 73% women avoiding night jobs. So this will give you the extra edge, the half a mark extra edge over others. Now the data speaks for itself. So let's look at the numbers. So in UPSC 2022, 91 of the aspirants wrote all the mains paper, all the 9 main paper. 91% of the aspirants wrote that. But only 12% cleared to the interview. Why? The difference was not knowledge. The knowledge level was more or less the same in these candidates. It was the quality of answers, the critical thinking or the rationale that they have put in writing the answers. Even top scorers in prelims often score average in mains. That's the main trap. UPSC is not checking the knowledge, it is checking your analytical and conceptual clarity. Now let's discuss a scenario. So meet candidate A and candidate B. We have two aspirants, we have two candidates, candidate A and candidate B. They read the same book list, they put in the same number of hours, the same number of days, but A uses the ready-made templates that are that he or she has read in toppers uh, answer copies, and B uses the original thought. It has so B has the more analytical approach towards the mains answer, and A they has just wrote memorized all the templates and have applied those templates in the main examination. So it's not, and in such a case, A scores 85 marks, and in the same paper with the same amount of effort, the same amount of hours, the same book list, B gets a very good score of 120 out of 250. It's not about the quantity, it's the quality of the engagement with the question that is the main matter. It's not the content, it's the connection. 80%, or I would say 90% of the UPSC examiners, be it in the test series or the actual examiners, they admit that they award bonus marks, for example, local examples, for multidisciplinary or multidimensional links. So there's a key tip that use Niti Ayogs and state reports over the generic UN data that everybody is copying in the examination. So examiners, the UPSC examiners, they are very senior professors, they are very senior bureaucrats. So they crave for India-rooted insights and India-rooted solutions. Now we talk about the smart preparation, like how a smart preparation should be. So a smart preparation should always be personal preparation, not a copy-paste approach. Smart preparation is a personal preparation. So are you a working professional, an engineering, a graduate in political science? Your schedule and strengths are different from the others. So So must be your strategy also be different from others. Do not blindly follow 10-hour routines. Build your own rhythms. Customize your own timetable, your own focus areas, your own strengths and pace. So do not follow 10-hour or 15-hour these routines. You might get burned out in 3 or 4 hours if you start copying this 10 or 15 hours approach. Now, what a question demands. So, for each question, identify the directive and demand of the question. The demand of the question is the main thing that needs to be fulfilled. Use examples and diagrams and structure it really well. Practice thinking, not parroting. Every UPSC question is a challenge to your brain. It is a challenge to your brain's thinking ability, not your memory. Ask yourself, like, what's the directive and what's the core demand? Can I give a current, real, or balanced answer? And is my structure logical and flowing? And how is my answer gonna be different than the answer that the examiner will be checking hundred of times a day? The more you connect personally with each question, the more marks you will get. So personal involvement in the question is really important. So let's summarize. Toppers, they inspire, but their journey is not a blueprint of your journey. UPSC values originality, authenticity, and contextual clarity and honesty of thought. Answer writing is not application, it's a reflection. Answer writing is reflection of yourself, of your personality, not replication of some ready-made answers of the toppers that you wrote memorize. So final thought being, let your answer script sound like you. Real, thoughtful, and authentic. That's what will make your journey to the final list truly your journey. Okay. And even if you have to go through the topper's copy, always remember these 2 points. Firstly, take the copies which are very recent. So suppose a topper has written the mains examiner in September of a month, in September 2024. Then that answer copy that you must be seeing of that topper should be in the latest by June, July, or August. Only then that you can get a hold that what that topper actually may have written in its main examination. Secondly, the topper that your copy that you are whose copy you are following, he or she must have scored very well in that particular paper in the actual examination. So suppose a topper has scored 100 marks in GS4 and some other topper has scored 128 marks. So go for that who has scored marks in similar um, uh, conditions and in similar question. So thank you. And if you want to learn how to converting your own preparation to the powerful answers, and how these toppers, they are not rote memorizing but are building their own answers. So join our free live webinar on the art of answer writing by our respected Deepika Reddy ma'am. The link is in the description. Thank you.